Hello, good evening, everyone. Um, Before I say anything else, where is the join button? The join button is not there. Why is it not there? There you go. Can't believe it's still the same problem since a year ago or a year and a half ago when this join button was erratic. It's still not fixed. Unbelievable. Anyway, welcome everyone. We're loading the Bahrain outer. We will do. Yeah, it's a tired journey. You know, it was a difficult Le Mans race. It was really good fun. It went decently well. Well, lagging and stuff happened. We lost the fight for P1 in the end, but it was still overall a good race. But you know, if you have a teammate being sick and the other one not being able to do the half of the race, and when you do 13 stints, which is like 8 to 9 hours of driving, including quali or excluding quali, and you drive till 4:30 in the morning, and then yeah, it's I'm still not fully back to full form, of course. So I just decided I will do just a nice quick stream today, because I normally stream on Tuesdays and it would be stupid not to, because we have some nice racing for sure going on. And because I have this McLaren setup that I have built for Go setups for Bahrain that I am yet to use, but I will not be really able to use it because Bahrain Outer is slightly different from normal Bahrain. It's still like the same base, but I made it slightly lower downforce. Anyway, the gloves. All the gloves I normally use are in the laundry. So I have to go with these two Atara ones that are external stitching, but they are more like for go-karting. I think they are even like fireproof or something like that. Well, for those 10 seconds or whatever is the required limit. They're maybe slightly too large or have too much material, but driving them today looks a bit funny. The greenness, it's very green. Right, yeah, Joao, whenever you do big races, you don't do the sim for next few days. It's same here, to be honest, but at the same time, I need to produce some content, you know, and I still wanted to try out this McLaren on a non-fixed setup for some time, so I thought if I don't do it today, well, I'm not gonna do it ever probably until, like, assuming that maybe well, obviously today there is no LMU update, right? So it could be next week. If it's next week, there could be further GT3 tire improvements, so I might never be able to try to prove that the McLaren is actually drivable on a decent setup. So we're here, driving around the Bahrain Outer with slightly clogged nose, with slightly low energy, but that's fine. Should be a fun race with ×2 fuel and ×2 tires. I think, yeah, it's 60 minutes, but I don't think GT3s can do a fuel save in this case for 30-minute stints. So let's see how it goes, what the other guys do. And let's see if this McLaren can actually get me somewhere. Yeah, the two Atara gloves, like the other ones that they had, they got holes in the fingers after some time, but they were really nice. Like I felt nice with them. I got these ones actually at Steam Formula Expo 2 years ago. I never really used them though, because they're kind of made more for go-karting and so on. But they work in the sim. Yeah, the McLaren should be good in a straight line. Depending on the setup, of course. And then again, if I upshift to 6th, I'm gonna lose a bit of power. If I stay in 5th, I'm gonna run into high revs and lose power. So it's a bit of a tricky one for top speed. But anyway, let's see. 10 minutes should be... How many laps? 8 laps? But it's a lot of fuel, you know, and it's wear times 2. So I think I'm just gonna stick to like 5 timed laps. Should be, although yeah, we have 8 sets. We have 8 tires, so we get extra set for the race. Maybe I do 6. Let's do 6. Yeah, 4 new for the race. Okay. Gonna be like 3 out laps and then 3 push laps, I think. How has the 24-hour gone? It was a really nice event. It was a great fight for 2/3 of the race against the Falcon guys, but in the end we were just lacking like a 10th per lap on average or so against the Porsche. Maybe it was Bob, maybe it was our setup being too safe in the end. We really made it safe, so it would be always drivable even in all the third stints. But it turned out that the wear was much less crucial than we thought it would be. So maybe our setup was way too safe. Should have made it a bit more on the limit, maybe a bit stiffer. But it was a fun race. Well, 4 laps for quali around this track is very little because it's such a short lap. So I don't know. I'm counting on that second set of tires for the race. Not sure if I should change them to the quali set in the middle of the race, or maybe start on quali set and change to the other set. In theory, I should be able to make the whole race on just one set. Hi Tsari. Good evening Toby. Hi Daniela. Yeah, hello everyone. I didn't really greet you in the chat before. But welcome everyone. What do we think are the chances of the big update happening next week? With a new track, new LMP3 and so on. In that Le Mans community update post Le Mans community update, they wrote something about the engineer like functionality in team races that sounded like it's gonna be available soon, possibly. Maybe it happens next week. Yeah, let's see about the tires, let's see. Let's see in the race how they were. Which track is coming to LMU? So we are waiting for Circuit de Catalunya, we are waiting for Paul Ricard from ELMS. We are waiting those two. And when we get Paul Ricard, we get basically 9,000 tracks in one, right? Well, the McLaren is quite pleasant to drive around here. Teach you to drive the Orange Bee. Yeah, it's a weird car. I'm teaching myself how to drive it still. So how are the tires? Slightly cold still. Well, 3 attempts to go. This upshift from first to second is super strange. It just takes forever to shift and then the rear does a weird thing. But it's one of the best cars in LMU at that Bahrain outer chicane that I've ever driven. It just eats the curbs. Nicely guidable across them. Wherever I brake, I'm gonna miss that apex. It's unbelievable. Thank you, Daniele. If you add a lot of TC slip, it's gonna help with that weird spike from first to second. But then maybe it's too much of TC slip. Let's cut this a bit more. And now I don't know where to brake. Even earlier. Okay. That was an apex. I do have slightly lower wing than on the setup that I developed for the full Bahrain. Right, one more lap. Can we do the 112? Blotto got me. Gonna need to be a heroic last corner somehow. Not enough. Well, but the pace is there. Looks like. Just a bit more rearwards brake bias. Gloves, Jesper. The two Atara ones from 2 years ago from Sim Formula. I think they were explaining that they are in process of trying to get that homologation. Probably they have got it already, but yeah, I've got these ones on the sim ones after. Was it January 24? The sim ones, of course, well, cheaper, but they feel better for the sim. But alright, until my other ones came from the laundry, or until English. When they come from laundry, I will of course go back to them because they feel more nimble. There is a lot of this material, like on the palms, but they are made for like go-karts and so on as well. So Of course, when you're driving go-karts outside, this will feel better than on the sim wheels, I think. Anyway, mean wing for the McLaren. Okay. I guess I could or should do that as well, but I didn't even put mean wing for Le Mans on the McLaren because it's going so quick on the straight anyway. And it's super sketchy. Although at Le Mans you really need some wing for the high-speed corners, but there is really no high-speed corners around Bahrain Outer. So full tank. I don't know what about radiators. I don't know what to do about these cuts. I think the cut is not cutting enough when it's cutting. It's so weird. The whole traction situation. Well, the AMG can still get us. Although, would need to gain 4/10. What is blow to top speed? $255. What am I doing? $257. Okay. Alright. A bit of advantage, but not too much. And into what? Okay. Into the race. Oh, the customs. I'm getting well, actually I had to pay a bit of customs because I'm getting some gloves from the UK again. Yeah, Joey, I'm looking forward to the strat. I think I'm not sure how exactly it's gonna go here with the tires. I think one could make it on the full on only one stint without changing. It's like low energy track. It's times 2 wear, but not sure if the thermal deck is always at times 2 as well, so we will see. Well, fuel is ready, tire is ready. Guess we start driving. And we will be on the outside. Oh yeah, we have LMP3s today as well. LMP2, LMP3 and GT3. Hi Ayus. And Joao, I've not yet updated to the new Simicube V3, but I'll have a look at it when there is time and so on. Dentist T1. Yeah, let's see. Let's see how much of dentist we are driving today. I will take a precautionary jelly because my millimoles will drop 100%. Very early green. and into the lead. Not too much of dentistry going on. Yeah, there we go. I spoke 1 millisecond too early. A lot of falling down the order. Okay, looking good. Now let's see. Okay, that was a dentist apex from me. But let's see how much pace the LMP3s have. Blotto down to P4. Whee! But I would assume that maybe if they're battling ahead, I could kind of stick with them even. Not that I want to be held up by that. What happened to Blotto damage? He's just falling down the order like crazy. Or maybe... what if he's doing the one-stopper? Maybe he's doing the one-stopper with the fuel saving, but he will need to... oof, not gonna be easy for him. Yeah, well, about GT freeze and LMP freeze, it makes it kind of fun. Well, this is split 1 of course, but who would know what happens in the other splits? But what should for sure happen is much bigger distance between the grids at the start. I don't know why is it so difficult to program that? Well, I'm sure it's kind of on the list, on the to-do list. There goes another one. Must be on the to-do list for the start sequence to have more distance between classes and like the split green flags. It looks like it's not deemed to be important enough yet. I cannot get that front into the apex. I'm waiting for that RF2 kind of rear nice slip angle to make me to get me the rotation. But well, wrong sim to expect that, which is nice. I think... wait, how does iRacing do it? There are bigger distances, I think, but then the green flag falls at the same time for all of them. But what should really happen is that each of the classes get their own green flag when they go on the start-finish straight. So I don't know why that is so difficult to implement. mean, if LMU or iRacing don't do it, then I don't know which team would do it. ACC doesn't really have multi-class races. Come on, Apex, I cannot get it. Otherwise, it's a very pleasant experience, this McLaren. It doesn't do what it's sometimes doing. I'm still laughing at my memory of watching random call sign driving the McLaren at Le Mans and not being able to survive a lap and then rage quitting the car. But with the setup, it's quick and stable at the same time, so I'm pretty proud of all the years that I have aged in the couple of days that it took me to work on the setup. Okay. Blotto is not fuel saving for one stop less. He just had a terrible lap 1, lap 2, I guess. Well, I mean, nothing is easy to code. Like, it surely is easier to code 3 separated starts than 1 good tire, right? And then if you're trying to simulate the World Endurance Championship, then you have to implement the actual WEC starts, right? Dan the Billy, I don't really have in my plans to do this every day. It would be really nice, and I would maybe do it in different circumstances, but because we had Le Mans 24, I am way too broken to like actually do racing every day. And then apart from that, we also have the VMS Pro final on the Sunday, 60 minutes of Interlagos that I need to prepare for. One more lap, one more missed apex. Unbelievable. Well, good gaps behind anyway, so that's fine. It's easy to code bugs, oh yes. Yeah, I mean, LMU starts, they're quite okay, but yeah, it's still a bit unintuitive in some cases and can be bugged potentially. So yeah, like, who knows what we would find when driving the split class starts. But eventually it has to be implemented, right? It just has to be. Yeah, about LFM Pro Series, it kind of escaped me a bit. I saw the teaser some months ago, but then it just like went by. I didn't really see the information about the Pro Series. Michi is streaming it right now, right? It doesn't, I mean, it doesn't seem too big of a series, like there is no huge prizes necessarily. I don't know how many people do it. I kind of had it noted down that I would do the LFM thingy. But now, like, we have VMS Pro finishing on Sunday, and then I'm trying to qualify for that Tatum Restech Championship. And that will have quite a nice prize for P1 as well. I mean, not that I am really looking much for those prizes, but it's still quite worth it. It's like a whole proper sim rig from Restech for the winner. which is worth quite a bit. And the racing is gonna be nice for sure. So I was like, well, probably I can have more fun there. And then this LFM separate rating system, I'm not sure if I could really be bothered at this point. But there we go with LMP2 traffic. What do you think about ACC and ACE? I'm not really a big fan of Kuno's physics. Apart from some really good cars in the good old Assetto Corsa, just because they were so well fine-tuned. But the GT3s in ACC, they still feel like they're driven on wooden or plastic tires. And for the ACE, I'm yet to see any. Like I bought AC Evo, but I was more interested actually in that open world thingy around Nordschleife. I really like such concepts. But it's gonna take a bit more development, right? I mean, they now made it. It's available, right? I need to update myself on the whole situation. It's got some of the big names. All right. I mean, that's nice for sure. But I don't think I have a lack of big competitions, to be honest, and I don't want to overwork myself with them. And when these upcoming tire updates come, it's gonna be worth maybe focusing on one GT3 and on one hypercar or so on, just to really fully understand it, especially for the hypercar when the tire model gets updated. Although, yeah, I could take the same car, maybe I could just develop the BMW into infinity and see what happens, but yeah, I will see. Hi Tom. Heavy rain Sunday, Michelle. Am I happy with that? Is it really heavy rain again? I mean, that's alright. I kind of liked the rain at Spa. %. They just copy-pasted the weather or what? Is it like the whole race 87% or like is it maybe it's gonna start dry and then go wet? I would hope there is some randomness in the rain. So much fun not seeing anything. Well, starting from pole, it was a bit more fun seeing at least something, but I didn't stay in P1 for many corners. I'm not sure what to do with fuel here. Like, I think people behind are doing mostly 20 lap stint, well, at least P2 is doing. Others are actually burning even more fuel, maybe doing 19 and then 10. I think it should be 48 laps. No, but this setup, this is really nice. Like, it's the first time I just drive the McLaren on kind of autopilot and it's just obeying what I'm doing. Until I start focusing and then I almost lose it. Nice. Yeah, it's not really new gloves, it's Well, they are gonna be 2 years old now, but I have not used them more than 2 times, I think. It was just the best choice that I had in my wardrobe with sim racing stuff. Because again, I used everything at Le Mans. I like taking fresh gloves for the next stint and then just washing them all. But well, luxury of that's an LMP2. Luxury of having received 4 sets of the field gloves from Traction when we worked together within the Rafa Racing Club. I do still have some Burst Esport gloves, to be honest, that are... Well, some of them were useful, that we received for sponsorship. And this is Tuatara, they are actually developed for karting, not necessarily for sim racing. Yeah, Hyper, basically... again, every time I try to explain, I have to stop myself because I cannot say too much. And I fear that I'm gonna be saying too much. But you will see some Traction content still with me. Actually, they uploaded a reel today where you can hear me saying one word if you're very carefully listening. That reel where actually not maybe a reel as well, but I saw it as a short on YouTube when somebody took a Vanval for the Kota 6-hour race and then pushed the other car into the pit lane when they ran out of pit lane, ran out of energy. Thank you for the sub, welcome. But yeah, basically all the Rafa logos and such are gone. So I'm not working with them anymore, like I used to be for the past 2 years, but have a new team now that I cannot announce yet. I don't think here it makes sense to fuel save anymore. I'm just gonna do 19 laps and rather refuel more later. Guilherme, about TSPC, well, I used TSPC in the past, a really nice wheel. I don't think anything special is needed in LMU. Like the good thing about force feedback and LMU is that it's everything is already set. You just need to load it and set like the strength, and that should be mostly it. There is no like canned effects or like stuff like dynamic damping or whatever that would help within LMU. It's all coming from the tire through the suspension, what you feel. No, I am allowed to wear any gloves. Team sleep angle. Well, when I have 100,000 subs, sure. Maybe 100,000 is not needed. I don't know how much is needed, but maybe one day. But yeah, okay, that's a good tip what Daniela says. Maximum FFB in the Trustmaster profiler, and then rather reduce it in the game to avoid FFB clipping. Yeah, I think I kept missing the last turn apex because I just kind of expect more bite from the front. But it's a McLaren, it will not have the bite on the front, it doesn't work like that, so I just need to be more patient. Same here, just wait for it, take the curb, and all will be good. Why do I have so much pace? I don't understand, like why is Blotto dropping off so much on everybody? We were quite close in quali. And I'm not really trying to go super fast here. Maybe the McLaren is just a really good race car. How are the tires? 80%. But why would I need to put the quali set on? It's gonna wear 79% on the worst tire in one stint, and I just need to do one more stint and then half a stint. I think it's perfectly fine to just keep going on this tire set. Temperatures are low. Lap times are getting quicker and quicker. I think the tires are absolutely fine. Now I just wonder, will some people put the shorter stint now, box after it, ooh, ow, box after it, and put then the quali tire and full tank till the end? In that case, I might be stuck in some traffic, but let's see. I'm just gonna go full tank, no change. It should be fine. Bahrain is really not a nice track for a cold tire to warm it up. To warm it up you just need many laps. Just so many slow corners where the temperatures that just don't really increase much. Will from Boosted Media just made a video about LMU FFV. Okay, I'm gonna check it, although... Wait, was it Will that went to the hospital some days ago? I just saw, like... I think I was on Facebook and got randomly recommended Boosted Media and Will laying in the bed. But you know, I'm always slightly reluctant to take FFB tips from non-esports drivers, let's put it like that, even though I maybe am making a mistake there doing it. Yeah, the smoothing, I don't really like the smoothing. Even in R Factor 2 it was kind of the same, you just lost FFB in the whole spectrum. Even though it should be kind of like low pass filter, only letting through the low frequencies and filtering all the quick noise and rattles. I'll try to fuel save now for 20 laps. Should be simple. Where is the... I saw a yellow flag, but there was no car, but then it appeared from behind the barrier. Oh, stay there. Okay. Maybe he would have floored it into me if I was in the wrong spot. Who knows? But I mean, you don't need to be esports driver to feel difference. Sometimes maybe non-esports drivers can just feel more differences or pick up some things that the esports drivers would just ignore or drive through them without even noticing them. As I miss the apex once again. Unbelievable. It's mostly personal preference, of course. Unless you put like massive damping or friction or what is the other setting that we have in SimuCube as well, like the inertia. Like there are some settings that only make sense if you just want to replicate the car that you drive in real life. More yellows. Where is he? Ah, okay. Apex. Almost. Now let's see how slower the new tires are. I think I was in 13s before on full tank. Yeah, best is 13.7. That was a reasonable line, I guess. Wait, I did the 13.7, I think, towards the end of the stint. I think it was 14s rather at the start. I don't think I'm really losing significant time on the old tire. And that's including having to wait for the LMP2. A Hyper, I would hope that's the case. I mean, they have a lot of expertise and money, and they know exactly what they are doing, so I would assume that they know how to try to replicate real life forces. But yeah, as Daniela says, we just get a lot, way too much info, at least in LMU, but we need it, of course. Actually, I was just driving the go-karts, like electric go-karts at indoor track today. And I mean, I was struggling with similar things, like with the McLaren, with the front, turning it too much, understeering. Felt very similar, but I just knew exactly what the go-kart was doing because I was, well, sitting in it. Also, it's today that I start liking electric go-karts over the combustion engine go-karts. They're just so quick. With the good old combustion engine, I mean, I don't really have much experience with go-karts, so I just the rental ones, but it's always so bad when you like do a hairpin and then it just has low RPM, no power, just wait forever to go somewhere, and you're like kind of battling on kind of a worse line, and then you're just done because the revs drop too much. But with the electric go-karts, it just rockets off, so good. Closing the stream. Sorry. But no, I really have zero clue about go-karts. I don't know what chassis, what variant, what I have zero clue. Nobody like here ever goes go-karting because it's just something that kind of rich people do on their free days. Like that's the mentality, I think, still. So like I know literally nobody that had anything to do with go-karting. In like of all my classmates or any other friends or people that I know from school, from being very young to very old. It's just not a culture here, so nobody knows anything about go-karts here. Apart from the very chosen few who race them and so on. So that's why I basically went to a go-kart track 5 times in my whole life. I forgot to fuel save. Not that it matters anyway. I'm from Ljubljana, Slovenia. David Greco. Oh, okay. Well, sounds fun. But I really had some great fun today with those electric go-karts. Like they have 5 different levels. If you're not a child, you start with the 3rd level and then you unlock extra power if you go quicker. And on the 3rd level, it was just about flat out for the whole lap. And while that is boring, if you don't really do much go-karting, it just feels so quick. And it's many corners that are barely flat out and some elevation changes and bridges and so on, and it feels so nice. Oh. Ow. The Ferrari experience. Ah, Melania. Oh, yes. I'm gonna miss it again, right? Just about kissed the white line. With no sound, you just can't. Yeah, I know. But I really like the instant power. Although again, when you have a little bit more power from the normal engine, of course it instantly feels different. Well, actually I got it for like birthday present, like 2 runs, but we paid for another one today, and I think it's like, was it 16 or 17 euros for 10 minutes? Which is basically, what would it be for average Slovenian net salary if I put it in that context? Maybe 3 hours of work? Don't revoke my citizenship, but sometimes I wish that after First World War we would stay rather included in the countries north of us than the countries south of us. Then we would have quite a lot more wealth to do go-karting and racing. za 10 minut, okay. It used to be like 10 euros for 10 minutes, like 10 years ago, in Ljubljana. But of course, inflation and stuff. Fake sounds to the cars, that's the worst. Yeah, like I watched some YouTube videos of electric cars that play actual, like, proper car sounds through the speakers, which is, I guess, nice, but it's, why don't they make it more fun? Like, it's all those lame sounds, very muted. I assume that's the modern car driving experience. I still normally drive my Hyundai Accent 2004. You put it to 4000 RPM, you cannot talk to the passenger anymore because of the loudness. But it sounds beautifully, kind of, as much as inline 4-cylinder of a cheap car can sound. Or yeah, combustion to make it sound more sport, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe YouTube audio encoding doesn't make it justice, but why not just play some very sharp ripping V12 through the speakers if you are doing something? Why just some muted generic engine sounds? If I ever drive a car like that, I want to have the option to feel like, I don't know, Jean Alesi with the Ferrari V12 around Suzuka in 1995. I'm sure you can put that DIY into the system, right? Like, it's just a computer and speakers, but Audis, alright. Yeah, that's weird, really. But maybe that's cheaper than making a hole in the like firewall and just having like a valve to actually put, or like I don't know where the most of the sound can come from. Just put like a valve for the sound that you can kind of turn on and off mechanically if you want more or less engine sound. Well, a hole in the firewall doesn't sound too safe anyway, but I'm sure that there can be engineering solutions made to fix that. That's a fast BMW behind me. Spaceship sounds on sports mode. Yeah, I mean, that's the opportunity to put a very nice, like maybe recordings of Carrera GT V10 into the Taycan on the sport mode. I hear every day, I think it's a Renault Zoe or something like that coming through. Like they have just the most obnoxious external sound for it. It just sounds so stupid. I don't know who designed it and thought that sounds nice. Like it sounds horrific. Kind of like a weird chord playing, like a happy chord, but it just sounds so strange. Now that I mentioned Carrera GT, I hope one day we have a sim which can make it justice and have it implemented, not as a cheap mod but as actual DLC or whatever. I really want to feel like how that car drove. From made from Croatia, I know. From Mr. You mean from Mr. Rimac? It's funny how difficult it is for Western language speakers to pronounce a th at the end of the word. Yeah, Lexus LFA, yeah, like that. Ah, poor Michi. And that's a language that I don't understand. Hello, Kasper. But you know, like a V10 historic DLC pack with Lexus LFA. Well, can be maybe some modern Audi Lamborghini based V10. Porsche Carrera GT. The Dodge Viper. maybe throw in some F1 cars. That would be a nice DLC for R Factor Ultimate in 2030. To be announced. Nah, that would be quite something, right? Carrera GT fixed at Manicure. I would drive that for the whole week. Man, maybe not Manicure, probably. Maybe I would like some more open track, but still. Paul Ricard with the long straight or whatever. Or Spa would do the job. What am I doing here with strategy? I wanted to save for extra lap, but I got distracted. Should be 10 to go after this, but because of the GT3 class being the slowest, maybe it's 11 laps to go. 55 should be enough. I just have a little bit too little for that extra lap and I don't need to risk it. No tire change, because the tires are fine. I don't have a problem with the tire. RF3 waiting room. One day. There is a weird thing with the McLaren traction going on. I don't quite understand it. Like, TC sometimes cuts a lot, but it still wheel spins like crazy, and it's so difficult to launch it from the box. Lost 2% on the rear from that. Nordschleife in LMU. Yeah, I mean, again, I guess it's never gonna happen. And then I'm thinking, well, we would all love like an open simulation like R Factor 2 with modding support and everything. But then RF2 never was really that popular, and I don't know if it's really just the user experience and UI and the bugs, or if it's just that it just didn't have any obvious direct purpose. Maybe it was just like too generic to get an attention like Le Mans Ultimate got it now. Yeah, they have to rewrite a lot of code, but they can use a lot of stuff from Le Mans Ultimate as well. Of course, race control, they reuse that. They can reuse, well, the whole physics engine, of course. Many systems, graphics, sound. Many things can be just copy-pasted, but just adjusted to more like general content. But then they need to find something that it would be doing in a major way, or like simulating. I don't know. I don't know if it's really ever gonna be that successful if it's just kind of a sim that kind of does things and has mods. I mean, they still have that Formula E license and BTCC kind of license somewhat. But then again, Formula E and BTCC are not really that huge deals across the whole world to base the whole game on that and then allow DLCs and modding and I don't know. Is he going for it? Nope. Ah, that's the LMP3 leader. He doesn't want to risk a dive. I think Neto in P2 didn't change tire either. Why did he defend? It's not like I would have dived him or anything. The tires are still not problematic. Car is smooth, a little bit bouncy, bumpy, slidey as the McLaren always is, but it's all manageable. I'm not really pushing it, but the pace is good. And it's not like there are slow people behind me, there is many really fast drivers in different cars behind. But the McLaren just keeps going like crazy, the pace. I don't get it. Is the bob so good for the McLaren, or is it the setup so good, or what? I'm confused. Well, sometimes races like that can happen. Just pace is good for no reason. You can say, Daniele, you can say. There are surely no other pro esporters. But then at the same time, I did three laps of practice to get the replay for the screenshot for the stream thumbnail. And then I did 3 clicks on the setup to make it more adjusted for the Bahrain outer. Just drop the wing, drop the rear wing. Sorry, my brain is gone. Drop the rear right height. And to think, what did I do from that Bahrain Go setup? I mean, it has a dedicated, you know, just telling you how lazy I am today. I just have the whole track setup for Go setups. The Go setups have the outer version as well, but I was even too lazy to download it. I just did those 3 clicks, did some laps, and went hobbying around Bahrain, but the pace is still great. I don't know, like, we have these guys like Neto, Blotto and so on. They're really not like slow hobbyists. They are good sim racers. But well, I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm just surprised that a race has been like that, especially after quali. I would say it's high level. Oh, you said low level lobby. I was reading low level hobby. I mean, it actually should be saying it's a high level hobby today. While the Le Mans 24 was not a hobby at all. Was a proper esports push, at least to some extent, right? We didn't really prepare for 2 weeks, it was just some days, but yeah. Kenobi, yes indeed. We start today with Bahrain Outer. Tomorrow it's gonna be Qatar paddock or something like that, like the weird one with the extremely silly chicane, but it's kind of fun. We did it in the GT3 Fixed some months ago. So should be 2 or 3 laps, right? Yeah, I have enough fuel for sure. There is something with that curb on the apex, it just makes the car to skate. I'm kind of disappointed that tire wear only goes to ×3. In R Factor 2 max was ×7. But again, I think it only affects the wear, not the thermal drag. Because the lap times are just not dropping, like I'm 4/10 off PB with ×2 wear on quite worn tire, so that ×2 doesn't really do anything to the strategy. But if the thermal drag was... where is he going? If the thermal drag was accelerated as well, then it would be maybe a different thing. Though again, there are no high-speed corners, so there wouldn't really be any thermal drag unless we put it ×7. But yeah, I would love to do the whole little championship this week, but I'm just unable to. I need to get a bit of more rest after the 24-hour race, and I need to prepare for the downpour at Interlagos for VMS Pro for Sunday. And then, for all we know, next week could be the big update for Le Mans Ultimate, and then I prefer to do more streams next week. Anyway, it's been a nice McLaren ride. The setup worked better than expected. It's maybe a bit stiff or over-dampened, like it's kind of bouncing in a weird way over those curbs, but it's stable. And despite all the understeer, because it's a McLaren, it will wear the rear still relatively more. It's hit the apex beautifully. And take the checkered flag. Alright. That's been a race. GG's. Hyper, thank you. Thank you for the feedback. Yeah, I am trying for each one to find something that's not too dull. I hate doing clickbaity stuff or unnecessary drama. I think just writing 60 minutes of Bahrain is maybe too boring, so I just try to do something. And I got told in the past that maybe just putting like asking AI to generate me like 10 video titles and then just reusing or using them one by one would be easier, but I think this is alright. I always forget about donuts, but I don't know if the McLaren would be happy doing the donuts. Again, it's super weird with how the rear axle operates with TC or without TC. Just gonna quickly check the start because it's been funny. So the start was a bit reaction was maybe slightly later than the AMG, but AMG just has this insane pull. But well, then we have slipstream and then I have slightly better top speed. And then I have only 12 visible cars, so who knows what's gonna happen after Apex, so way too much space given. I always do this mistake, I just like make some space on the inside as I turn in, but I always find myself like roughly, I don't know, 13 car widths away from the apex. It's just costing me so much. But actually here in this case it was alright because Blotto got blocked a bit, and then I guess we kind of latched ourselves together. He couldn't turn more and I kind of had to turn to make the corner, so luckily we survived. And then... Ow. Oh, okay. I didn't even notice I did this. But look, from my POV, I'm just exiting corner kind of straight-ish. And from his POV, I turn kind of into him. I think it's just nature of the corner. Yeah, like we're just... He's maybe understeering slightly. I'm trying to open up next corner a bit more because it's kind of tight. I don't know. Just an incident. Yeah, and then... Oh, he had damage! Okay. Alright, well yeah, I had a little bit of gap, right? In the end I could get a coffee, but it was not a big gap. Wait, why did this crash happen even? Let's learn. Yeah. He was braking, but just not enough. Unfortunate. Ow. Lucky for me. Oh, yeah, like that's so difficult to spot. He could maybe see it here if he was looking more in the distance. But after that, it's hidden. And then when it opens up, nothing you can do about it. Bang. That was a good job on the brakes to avoid. Good move. Space given on the exit. What a fight. There goes the bollard. Eaten by the Mustang. That bollard actually, like, I don't know if it disappears. Ah, there we go. But that bollard can get stuck in the suspension and suddenly, like, block a tire. In RF2, I still remember in Formula Sim Racing, I took the chicane. I don't know which year it was, at Suzuka, that last chicane. I touched the bollard, it got underneath my wheel and I spun because of it. It just, like, turned me around. Well, that's taking long. I mean, it doesn't really matter much. Well, P1 for now, but again, not sure if I'm gonna do any of the other 6 rounds here. And I don't know if I should really do any other race. Like, I'm pretty tired still after Le Mans 24. Could do Fuji, but I will go to bed potentially. Let me just check if it's the profile. The system is so slow. Anyway, let it be it for today. Just a short and sweet stream. I expected a bit more of racing and strategy, but sometimes these nice drives into the distance are given to us. Solo 24. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I guess every big streamer, once they reach enough subs, decide at some point to do like the 24-hour race solo or something like that. I don't know if I've ever want to do something like that. GG Matteo, unlucky about the bump with the LMP3. I was quite lucky in that carnage. Well, I give it the last chance to check the results. It's not there. Happens. Alright, well, guys, I will be live on Sunday for a supposedly very wet Interlagos 60 minutes final of that championship. I think in theory still in the contention for the championship, but I would need like basically top 2 DNFing to have any chance, because well, the start of the championship was a bit poor. That Portimao was a bit unlucky. Anyway, have a good night everyone, or good day, and see you next time. Bye bye.